if you're ready, then we can try to search for your friend. I arranged to do it myself. If anyone has the ability to do so, I think I am one of the forefront at scrying magic. So I thought I would be the one to do it personally if you are prepared.
To be honest, I don't have high hopes for the success of this, but yes, I think we're all ready to see what will happen.
Do you have anything of hers? It's better when it's something of the person themselves. It sounds strange, but if you can steal a lock of their hair or something, your chances increase significantly. But even so, possessions or things that were important to them sometimes can help with scrying magic.
You ended up giving back the necklace, right? So...
I'm pretty sure we did.
I still have the evil necklace in the bag of holding.
Yeah, I'd say that's...
So
I mean, that might be interesting to scry on, but I don't know if that's what we're looking for.
We do have something related to her. It is complicated, though. And I'll just explain what it is that we have. And
right.
Yeah, I'll go in the history, so I don't have to do it all right now. But I'll bring her up to speed, basically.
She considers this for a moment. She says, I don't know. It seems rather unstable. And it could help, it could hinder, I suppose. The question I also would ask is it safe?
Honestly,
Yeah.
we
Well-
cannot guarantee that at all. And I am a little remiss to even reveal it here in your chambers. Given that we're still not sure the nature of this other place that it's tied to.
She says, I'll leave the decision to you. I am not concerned about the prospects of it. I think I can wield off any magics it might have, but whether or not it will help, I'm uncertain. If you believe that she has been sent to the place where this originated, then it could help. But if it's been so corrupted as to be almost leaking out magic, I'm not certain.
Other than that, probably the closest thing we have is Tessian's scar on his chest when she skewered him almost for dead. Oh, that's a long story.
God, Tessian is like, do we really not have anything of hers?
And actually, this brings up a good point of if we even have that magic item from the first Conatus thing that we did. I would guess not. She just left, so
Yeah, I think it's...
all items she had on her are gone too.
Mhm.
But
They
That
gone.
dagger she never freaking used.
so we don't even have that stuff.
Oh, however, and Tessian will pull, or no, it's a necklace. He'll pull out the black opal necklace. These were purchased as a set. There were 5 of them. The other 4 are here. The 5th one should be on her. I don't know that would help at all, but they were together when I purchased them, and I suspect they were together sometime in the shop. It's not technically her item, but it's a part of a set of an item she still has.
She, upon hearing that, sort of rises slowly, like majestically, out of the throne, just in one smooth motion. She says, perhaps, let me have that. I would ask that you stand in a circle, link arms with me. It is fine. And she looks over at Cash. She goes, it's fine. They're allowed to touch the Empress. Cash just kind of rolls her eyes at this point. She's like, yeah, whatever. And she says, perhaps think of her. And with us linked and this, even though it's a long shot, maybe it will help. She takes a moment to kind of compose herself.
What are you thinking about, Lena?
Yeah.
we are gonna go memory by memory. Okay.
Sure.
I'm just thinking of like generally all the, I don't know, the good times. I'm trying to just think back on all the good times I've had with her and as a group, and just our journey and the adventures. I don't know. I'm trying.
Got to be specific.
Well-
Karash, while she's thinking, what are you thinking about?
When we were on the farm and her interacting with her parents.
Nice. Tessian.
Oh gosh, it's probably just some of the many times that like she's played music. I think that first night that we was it the first night, the night when she busted out the banjo and we were kind of like dancing and hanging out by the fire. That was a callback. It was when gosh, the one girl that I know, the traveling merchant, was with us and her dwarf friend.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
No, no,
The caravan.
Ooh, I remember playing music with her. I'll think of that.
you did, you
Yeah.
did, yeah. That was I think like the first time we as a group all stopped together. I think maybe I don't know. It
That
was a while
sounds-
ago.
Yeah, it was like at the very beginning, but
I'm thinking of when I was like close to death and she was like kind of caring for me to get back to health, and then giving her a kiss on the cheek right before we everything went to shit.
Aww.
And how nice that was.
Yeah.
Okay. Come here, camera. Let's
Oh
go
no! Oh god!
Oh god.
there. I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh God.
It's not good.
Dun dun.
Four?
Oh.
You know what? That's actually perfect though, because
Yeah, just to make sure everybody knows it's legit.
she's not on this fucking plane.
Camille takes a second. She closes her eyes as she links arms with the rest of you. And there's just kind of silence in the room. It's eerie in a sense, just because it's a huge room, so there's just no sound at all, which is kind of weird. But about 30 seconds pass. Her eyes close the entire time. She opens them and she says, "There's nothing." But I actually think that is good news in a sense. It means that she is not on this plane. Wherever she went has to be somewhere else, which will make it harder to find her than if we had known she was here somewhere, but it also means she wasn't thrown across this world somewhere into God knows where. It could be the middle of the ocean.
Well, I suppose it's the little things then.
I don't know that it's good news, and I don't mean to raise your hopes, but at least it narrows it down a little.
Well, I suppose our next step then is to continue our journey and hope that the answers to this other place are revealed.
She nods. She says, "Well, I hope for the same thing, because I wonder if there really is another world out there, like ours, and they do seem to pose a threat. Finding her might be the key to stopping that threat to the kingdom as well. I may have some people I know look into it, and if they can find anything, I'll let you know, but I don't know. These are powerful magics at work. If they can link other worlds or other times or places beyond the grasp of this material plane, it means that something or someone or some powerful force, it takes something big to be able to enact change on that level, to connect places that are not meant to be connected. But perhaps you may find something along your journey."
Who can we contact? Who will we have access to give you updates or let you know what we decide with Woodford Thorogood investigation?
Well, Cavis intends to stay in Falstaff to keep an eye on things, and just to make sure Whitwer doesn't try to leave if possible. So if you're heading there, you should be able to find him there, and as such, you can also get to me through him. Beyond that, if you're trying to get back in touch with me, we can try and put you up longer at the Witch's Cauldron if you wish to stay in the city for a while, or even just at certain points in the lead-up to the trial. You obviously know where to find me. You won't be able to have a direct audience with me, but you can request one, and as long as I'm not taken by other matters, we can arrange to speak again. Or it's a much easier for Rezia, and to an even greater extent Cass, and she gestures over her shoulder, to speak with you and or get word to me if it's something smaller that doesn't require my direct attention.
Okay, well, we didn't have high hopes, but thank you for your help and for being so candid with us today.
She says, well, I wish I could do more. I intend to do more. I am dissatisfied with the direction of things, and to be frank, I'm disappointed in myself. But I don't know. I was very young when the throne fell to me after my mother passed away, and you can hear the slight air quotes to that. Perhaps I was not ready. Even now, I wonder if I'm ready, but at least I've learned a lot. And at least now, I'm more willing to rock the boat a bit, to stand up for what I think is important, even if it comes at risk to myself. My sister has been adamant against that. She thinks I can do more good if I stay alive than if I'm killed, but I think the time has come to take more bold action. And I will do so. I do not send you out on the remainder of the Conatus without putting myself on the line to some extent as well. Today's action against Faust is one step, but I intend to do more. But I thank you again for everything you've done to this point and what you intend to do going forward.
I think it's noble of you, Your Grace, to take such risks. I think it's the stuff of true nobility and leadership. You can tell Tessian's kind of thinking on something, and he kind of almost kind of turns like he wants to kind of talk to her, even though like clearly we're in a giant room and there's like 5 feet between us, so he can't really have a private conversation. And he's like, if you wouldn't mind, Your Grace, my family has a number of offensive magics at its disposal, and I am not of pure enough blood to wield all of them. As the resident caster amongst us in many ways, I was wondering if I might have access to any tomes or research into more offensive capabilities. It has occurred to me that my abilities, I may not be able to, and like he's struggling with the word here. He's like, I don't know that I can protect my companions as well as I would like to. And I was wondering if you might have ways to assist me with that so that I don't put myself at any undue risk.
She thinks about this for a bit. She says, well, many times magic can be improved by training with those who are more adept. It's a project that I wouldn't mind undertaking myself, but as you can imagine, there are several constraints to that being a viable possibility. Perhaps you should check with the Courtiers Academy. There are several there who are adept with magic who frequently instruct others. My guess is one of the more long-tenured instructors might be familiar enough, especially with your particular branch, to assist you in the development of new or different spells in some way. I can put in a word for you such that you could be in contact with them even though you are too old to be a student at this point.
That would be most appreciated. Thank you, Your Grace.
She nods. She says, well, if that is everything then, I will have Cass escort you out, just to make sure that she's with you and when you pass by the Cabal members that are no doubt just outside the door waiting. I wish you luck on your journey, and I wish us all luck in what we're going to be taking on in 2 weeks. I suspect things are not as simple as they seem for many reasons, some of which we talked about, some of which I may not even fully understand, but I think Faust Dryden is going to prove to be a difficult egg to crack. But we owe it to ourselves and to the people who live across this country to try. I'll make the arrangements we spoke of, both with the financial backing and with the Courtiers Academy, and I look forward to the next time we speak. I hope it can be just as frank as this one, even if I have to boot the Cabal out of the entire castle.
Well, it has been an honor. I think I speak for all of us when I say that, and I agree. I hope our next meeting is equally as civil, and ends on just as good a note.
She gives a very slight curtsy. But a noticeable one nonetheless. And then Cass kind of comes up to the rest of you and says, okay, if you're ready.
Guess we'll skedaddle.
I resume leaning on Lena.
I hook my arm on your arm.
I had a brave face for the Empress, but now I'm back to Lena as we walk out of this extraordinarily long hallway.
Mm-hmm.
You just start
Even longer,
occasionally
I
start
promise you.
wandering off into a pillar somewhere.
I'm still gonna ask if there's the receptionist or whoever it is that makes a note of who comes and goes about anybody from Clan Mysterian.
Okay. So Cass leads you back out to the lobby area, essentially. Karash, you can go kind of look into that. And as you do, she kind of... there's another kind of like sigh of relief as she just starts to address you. She says, well, that went better than I expected it would. Not that I thought it would be bad, just... it's rare to see her be so forward.
Well, we've got very trusting faces, of course. You know, we're all good people here. Especially this one, and he points to Isaac, who's like, I don't know, throwing up in a corner or some nonsense.
Yeah, not to be uncouth, but how do we come into possession of the very generous offer from the Empress of some funding for the Cornatus?
She says, well, I can make that happen pretty quickly. Seeing as it's evening time, I'm guessing you don't intend to leave until the morning?
At the earliest, I'd imagine.
We have a lot to discuss, I kind of say along with Tessian.
She nods. She says, it should not be too much trouble to get access to the royal coffers and procure a bit of funds for you. So I can take care of that tonight.
Be appreciated.
Grateful.
I know where you're staying, so it won't be too hard to send that over. I'll make sure it's somebody strong so they don't get mugged.
Yes, please.
It's just a Brinks security van pulls up.
It's heavily armored.
Sorry, that happens at Sam's Club. It's where I work. You know, they roll up, change into money. It's okay. It's fine.
No, I like it. I think it's an apt metaphor, if not another anachronism. But
It's got like horses pulling it. It's a Brinks, you know, security carriage. Yeah.
There you go.
Karash, digging through the archives takes a little while they're off having this conversation that's short, but still. And the gist of it is the receptionist is able to kind of dig through some stuff in these cabinets off on the side, and they're looking for a period, you know, that's a little bit nebulous and hard to track down exactly, because they're looking over a span of maybe a couple years, since the Empress isn't exactly sure. But after taking a good 5 or 10 minutes, they find that there was indeed a Dragonborn who signed in, looks like about 9 years ago, and his name was Bereave.
Oh, hey. Is that all?
Is there any note indicating what he was there for or anything?
There is not. This seems to be more about accountability as far as who might be gaining access to the Empress/Emperor should anything happen. It's not
Got 9
documenting
years.
like purposes, because sometimes those aren't known, especially when it's meant to be more secret business. It's not always known up front.
So he actually had the nads to sign in as Mysterian Bereave too?
Yeah.
Oh, what a douche. All right.
This was Camille as well, right? 9 years ago was still Camille?
9 years ago was just the start of Camille, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check.
I mean, it's really close, but I think that's the case.
I think it might be 8. I have it
What's
written. Hold on.
Camille?
That's the current,
Well,
that's the Empress
when
you
her
spoke to.
mother, yeah, it would have been right around I'm trying to think what the exact time frame is. Yeah, there would have been a time when the mother wasn't dead yet, wasn't poisoned, and so Camille would not have been the Empress. And
Oh.
I'm trying to think when 9 years ago would have been on that, because
I'm scrolling.
yeah, I'm trying to think how old Tessian was. Well, we said when we went to the coronation of Camille, and that's close that's like right in that period.
And Karash, you also know that, Bereav's older than you, obviously. He still would have been relatively young at that point.
Quite a bit, yeah. Is there anybody that signed in with him, or was with them at the time?
There is. Hold on.
Crash of the Thunder.
Oh shit!
Bum,
Time
Grail.
Signed in as Mysterian Crash. Don't be weird.
No,
let me finish
not
looking up
the-
the Empress thing real quick before I smash
Actually,
this other one.
I wouldn't have signed in actually, because writing.
No, this is future you who's traveled back in time, and you've learned to write, and you have to sign in his name to get yourself on this path. Because, like, I mean, how else is John Connor gonna save the world? He's gotta.
She's been in power for 8 years. That is actually in Amelia Whitehall II's reign.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because it was 9 years ago, and it was a little after that she passed away.
Mysteriously. Yes.
And then there's a short, succession period. So it wasn't like, oh, next day, 22-year-old Camille is the Empress. Go get to work. So that takes care of that one. Let me now find this other name. So you guys are going deep lore on me here.
That's what we do.
Come on.
Put on our- what are those caps called? A diving cap? A diving cap. Put in our diving cap.
Yeah.
There is one of the Dragonborn that has signed this. Not with the
Ooh.
same clan name. Not with a clan name at all. But there was another one named Rogar. That's Rhogar. On the same day as Bereave.
There's no other description.
No. And so that essentially concludes your guys' time at the castle. Heading back to the Witch's Cauldron or some other business.
Yeah, I would ask if we can all head back so we can talk about next steps.
Yeah.
Even if you guys want to have your own plans for tonight.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good call.
Agreed.
Okay, so you guys make your way back across town. Another nice evening in Waychester. Pleasant weather. No stars again. I mean, maybe the couple brightest that you can see. Everything else still too way lit up, and still, it's people occasionally pass you on the streets. Seem pleasant, seem happy. Things going well. The exterior of the Witch's Cauldron doesn't have a performance going on currently. Seems like it's most lively during the day. But you guys can make your way back to the rooms that you have for at least through tonight currently.
Should we just grab a table or something?
This
Maybe.
is the last night you guys have paid for, but you do have one for the evening and have the night at your disposal here.
I think we'll just grab a table out in the main eating area.
Okay.
Maybe do an order of food, appetizers. We'll get some fries and maybe some wings. Or
I would
something.
like some bread, please. And I'm looking in bad shape, and I'm reminded why I don't drink very often, or ever.
How much did you
You
drink?
don't want to know.
Oh, dear.
And I also lost count.
So we put it in order, I guess,
Yeah.
and then we.
And water. As
Lots of
well.
water.
Seems good.
Save the bill. Okay. You guys put it in order, and
Put on the Empress's tab. No.
good luck with that. And you're free to kind of converse amongst yourselves while you wait for food to arrive.
Well, I suppose it's time that we discuss our next steps. Obviously, the Codatus is something that we can't afford to put off any longer, but I will admit I would like to prepare and maybe take the Empress up on this offer, now that we're here in Waychester, to go visit the Courtiers Academy. Although from the sound of it, Isaac, you wished to go look into Thorogood. So...
Yeah, let me start us off with a bang here, because I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be coherent. So we all have things that we can really be using this free time for. Tessian, you mentioned learning more about magic. I would like to finally build that rifle that I've been collecting parts for. I think Waychester is going to be a great opportunity, especially with the funding. Karash, looking for Dragonborn is always at the top of your mind, and I understand that. We also have the Falstock investigation, and Lena, I don't know, but I'm sure we can think of something for you. My point is, we have plenty of things to do, and yet I don't think we can consider any of them until we do the Cornatus. Depending on how long that takes, we can go from there, but I don't think we can risk spending a week doing things for us, and then we end up needing more time for the Cornatus and either have to cut it short or miss the investigation, the trial.
Well, to counter that point, we don't know how long the Cornatus will do. As far as we know, we could arrive, and it might be a test of endurance, and we have to survive at the top of a mountain for a month or something. We don't know what that next step is, but we do know that it can probably wait 2 weeks. I mean, I don't know that I want to wait 2 weeks, but if we're talking unknowns here, you being able to choose, you could always stop building your gun, and I could always leave the Courtiers Academy if need be. I don't know that we'll have that option on the Cornatus. I'll remind you, I think last time we were trapped in a room with a dragon, and that was just to see if we were worthy, so I'm a little hesitant on how that time frame will work, but...
I suppose that's fair. I was only thinking of how to fit both different quests in. If we're saying we're going to wait until after for the Cornatus completely, well, then that changes things. Lena, what do you think, though? I think there is merit to waiting, but it's another 2 weeks putting out. If this quest is as important as it's starting to seem, every hour may count. We just don't know yet.
I agree.
It's true, but I'm concerned about us going in unprepared, especially with one less member of our group now. I think if we pursue the Cornatus, we should try to also consider being prepared as much as we can be. Maybe we can take a couple of days here in Waychester to maybe start building your rifle or start learning the magical abilities that you would like to pursue, and then we can look to do the Cornatus. I guess we'll have to see if we do get stuck on a mountain and have to survive for a month, or if it's more like the first one, but I think we should try to start it as quickly as possible, but I also don't want us to be unprepared.
If nothing else, we can see what is required for our tasks before we would leave tomorrow, and then make a decision based on that. But I personally do not have a concern one way or the other. My only interest now is to ask about Rogar, the person who came with the other Dragonborn who came with Bereave to visit the Empress. I do not know what this other Dragonborn is, or what their interest in Bereave is.
Well, so I think investigating Falstock is important. Should I go alone? If we all have fairly pressing matters to deal with. Or maybe Lena could join me.
I was about to say, actually, I wouldn't mind going with you. I don't really have anything else that's pressing other than the Cornatus, but in the meantime, I think trying to figure out what happened in Falstock might help our journey as we go along. So I wouldn't mind doing that.
Well, as much as I would like to join you for the sake of safety and security, that's the exact reason that I would like to pursue some of these more arcane matters. I agree. The two of you going, or even the three of you, I suppose, might be the better option, depending on what it is Crash can find here in town. I don't know that you're going to find many people who will be able to assist you in finding this Rogar. But I don't know. I hope for the best, Karash, but this is certainly not the place where people would pay one of your kind too much mind. No offense.
Yeah, and actually it's for that reason. Now that you mention it, why don't we tell Cavus to wait a couple days? Assuming there's like a teleportation circle we can use to get to Falstock quickly.
There is.
And for that reason, we can help Karash track down some of this information. Tessian, you can start your crucible, potentially, of learning this new offensive magic. We don't really know a lot about it, but it sounds extremely valuable. And just go from there.
I think that sounds like the best option for now. We'll keep the Conatus in mind. Let's see what sort of tasks we've put in front of ourselves to prepare. And we can reconvene after we have a bit more information.
Sounds good.
Cool.
I like this plan.
We are in agreement.
Okay.
I guess we'll eat our food and go about our night. Get ready for tomorrow.
I'm going to take some bread and sort of nod to everyone and start to like walk to my room. Not feeling great.
Okay.
Make better life choices. I'm gonna go attempt to persuade the bartender to let me know if they know people who know people, that sort of thing. See if I can find somebody who might be good at finding information about names, that sort of shtick.
You can make a persuasion check. And there should be some dice rolls sometime.
Oh God, where's the fun in that? 13.
The bartender says that, unfortunately, the best place to find information in Waychester is typically who comes and goes through the palace itself. For the most part, Waychester, while it has travel to and from, the travel to and from is mostly for specific reasons and not just people kind of being like, hey, let's go check out the capital, because they're denied access to most of the city as it is. And those parts of the city are also, again, like the Zenith District, mostly just kind of hold up to themselves. Not a lot of coming and going from the nobles, because why would they want to go elsewhere when life is so good here? So even though this is located in kind of a central location as far as the train line goes, that only serves to connect the southern part of Aramea with Waychester and then everything to the east. Essentially, they could look into it and maybe get you an answer by the morning, but off the top of their head, the answer is there's not really anybody that comes to mind, because people don't really go down south either. The desert is unforgiving and harsh, and the train doesn't even make its way out through it. It just goes to the exterior of it for anybody who's dumb enough to go in. But because of it, the travel between Waychester and the south is limited, and since nobody's passing through Waychester from the east to go south, they don't get a lot of side foot traffic. People generally come to Waychester for a specific purpose and not just like sightseeing or traveling the world to see the sights, which is the same thing I said the first time.
I'm going to thank the nice bartender and palm him 5 gold pieces.
Okay.
And ask him to get, if they can find any more information in the morning, I'll stop by and ask.
Okay. So you can check in on that in the morning. That's fine. Anybody else this evening? It's getting to be like 8:30, 9 o'clock at this point.
Where's the Courtiers Academy in relation to the city itself, I guess? The Zenith District and otherwise.
Yeah. It's about 15 minutes west of where you are. It's sort of like just south of the castle, whereas the Zenith District is more to the northeast. So it's not terribly far from where you're staying. It's basically on the other side of the whole market district that you guys sort of dipped your toes into back on the first day you were here. It's across that on the other side, but still kind of nestled up against the castle because it has a pretty heavy connection to nobles as well.
Okay. It's just, I don't think Tessie knows that Karash is trying to get into the Zenith District. Tessie might be able to help him with that, but I don't know that he would consider it if he doesn't know. So.
Nope.
It's already moved on.
Yeah. He tried. It didn't go well, and he gave up.
Okay. Well, I've got no reason to go there, so yeah, I guess Tessian will just sort of bunker down for the night and get ready for tomorrow.
Okay. Anybody else up to anything, or is it just sweet dreams time for the first full night's sleep in 3 nights?
Isaac's crying and eating bread. That's about it until he passes out.
But did you know that bread makes you fat?
That's okay.
Bread has the same number of letters as Grail. I don't know what that means, but I'm just saying.
Is this fucking depression Jeopardy? Get out of here. We'll just...
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll probably just head to my room to try to sleep if I can. Probably not great, but I'll try.
Okay. So, weary from a jam-packed couple of days and some unusual sleeping hours and travel times, you guys finally settle down for the evening. There's kind of that one thought lingering as you do so, and her presence is especially noticeable for you, Lena, since you were sharing the room, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
You have the room to yourself now, which is cool, except for what it means big picture.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have you make a nature check.
Ooh, okay.
And Karash a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh. Dun, dun,
Because I like messing with people when they sleep.
13.
11.
That's a lucky number today.
Grail. Lena, you're having a hard time focusing on your meditation because of thinking about Grail. That's where that start of the sentence was trying to head.
Yep.
Do you still have that sense to the east now? It's more refined than before. Not when you were passing it. It's not that sharp. But you can tell that having been in proximity of it and having kind of gotten some more information about the Coneus along the way, that your sense of it has improved to where, like, it's not nearly as vague as it used to be. It's still far off, so you can't be like, oh, it's 173 meters that way. But you still know, like, you're getting more in tune with this over time as you spend time reflecting and focusing on the next step of this journey to where, like, it's there. It's ready for you. You don't have a sense of what the first step will be, and obviously your grandma refused to give any details because that's part of the journey, but it lingers, and you can just sense it off in that direction, out to the east, slightly south.
Okay.
Beyond that, not a whole lot else happens during your meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Karash, you end up having assorted dreams of the Blue Isles before things went south. Just thinking back on the more idyllic, peaceful life before everything got turned topsy-turvy. At the end of it... hold on. I can't prepare to say that sentence just yet.
Because you got to start with the word Grail again.
Yes. Grail thinks of herself as a dragonborn.
Oh boy.
It's
weird.
hideous.
Oh.
You've never seen such a foul creature.
Thanks, I hate it.
You feel this warmth in the dream, and at first you're like, is it my brain thinking because the islands were so sunny and with such nice weather? Like, am I thinking back on that, or just the memories are making you feel this warmth? But as the last of the dreams fades, it is replaced with that same almost like overlaid map of Aramea as a couple of weeks ago. And you realize the warmth is Cord. It feels familiar somehow, yet strange. It harkens back to the night that you survived against all odds. It's just a feeling that's hard to describe, but one that is familiar on a couple of occasions now. It points out a few bits of information that you already knew, such as there are two sort of like stars that light up on this map of sorts in Timberbrook. But there seem to be new ones joining the fray as well. 3 in Fort Cross, to the northeast of Waychester, and a bright, slightly bigger one in Calasabia, the desert town. You're not sure if that's a stronger one or several bunched together as like a tightly packed constellation of sorts. But it does seem as though your additional digging has bestowed upon you something of another gift from Cord. Beyond that, everybody sleeps pretty soundly once rest finds you. With a lot weighing on everyone's minds, it's a little difficult to get to sleep, but it's also easy in the sense that everybody's super tired. Emotionally, physically, it's all been pretty draining, and you all get a more than full night's sleep, depending on when people want to get up, but going to bed slightly early and you have nothing pressing you in the very early part of the morning. Everybody can finally rest up and get all the spell slots back that they definitely spent today and all that jazz. Some people did. Not really, though. Because nobody decided to cast spells on Faust.
Nope.
But you coulda.
I thought I used Detect Magic a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean,
around the castle.
there are a handful of stuff that is coming back here, but...
I think it was Mage Armor, maybe?
Yep, before you went through the teleporter. So yeah, there was a handful of stuff. Point being, that like, you know, it wasn't desperately in need of spell slots, but they're back, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Full HP, all that jazz. This is the point at which I will tell the viewers that we're going to be doing something of a montage for some of the events of the next 2 weeks, because I'm a Rocky fan and training montages are important. There are also a couple other things in the works that'll be happening probably next session. We'll see. It depends on the ordering here, but the group's giving me an idea of what they're looking at here. So, next time, Dawn in Waychester brings a 2-week span of possibility. There's some stuff on the group's plate already, some other things they may discover along the way. They may separate at some point. They may go together. We'll kind of go through it in a different manner than we might normally in some respects. You'll see what I mean next time, but I think it'll be interesting. We have some spare time for the group to actually maybe get off on some hijinks and some side adventures, and they're going to do so next time on the Anachroschism.